Hey guys, Late Boy Scout here. This is my comparison review of the Squirt S4 by Leatherman and the Leatherman Micra. I've reviewed both of these separately, and now it's time to review them. Put these guys head to head. They are some awesome tools. Both of them are. But there's a big difference in price between them. And I think feature for feature, they're the same tool. So why spend more money than you would on this one? Spend more money here, spend less money here. Why do that? Okay, well, let's go through all the features and try to decide which one is best for you. Now, this might be a moot point, depending on who you are and what you think about Leatherman tools, because Leatherman has recently released something called the Squirt PS4, which is a combination of this, the Squirt S4, and this Squirt P4. They've combined these two tools so that you have pliers, and then somewhere in here in the collection of tools you have a small pair of scissors, a very, very small pair of scissors. I have not gotten my hands on a PS4 yet, so I can't review it. I can't give you a fully informed comparison and tell you what the feature set is yet. I hope to in the future, but for now I'm just going to say that the question is not moot. This point is not moot because in combining these two tools, Leatherman had to make some sacrifices, and they have removed some of the tools that were here and some of the tools that were there in order to put them together into one tool. So keep that in mind as you're shopping for the PS4. It's gonna be less than both of these put together. It's not a perfect combination of these two. So moving on. Establish the point that this is still a comparison worth doing, so let's get on with it. The Squirt S4 is gorgeous. It's got this wonderful, these aluminum scales on it, such a refined look. Scissors, let's compare the two scissors. Very refined in comparison to the Micras. The Micras are still very functional, but you might be able to see right here at the tip, it slightly overlays past the middle point, just goes a little bit too far. Okay, and that actually gets worse as you start to close the tool. You might be able to see, I don't think you'll be able to see it here. Yeah, slightly. You can slightly see it. It will actually get, yeah, do you see that? It goes further and further past. So it's just kind of an engineering non-refinement that happened with the Micra. It's not as refined design-wise as the Squirt S4 is. You see that? It stays in the middle there as you close it. Okay, that's just some design refinement. Functionally, is it a bad thing? Sometimes it could be. Let's say if you're using this to clip fingernails because you got nothing else and that goes a little too far. Okay, now you're kind of, snagging your skin as you're clipping with that because it's going a little bit further than you wanted it to. If you're doing this on a little kid's fingernails, yeah, you could kind of create some fear of the Micra, of the tool. Kids like, hey, that's uncomfortable. So scissors, I'm gonna have to hand it to the Squirt S4 for scissors. Let's move on to the next tool. All right, so closing them up, because on the Squirt S4 actually the remainder of the tools are on the outside of the tool, which is probably a good thing if this is a keychain tool, right? Because they're faster to access. Let's start with the blade. Just like that, comes right out. Okay. Now let's get to the one on the Micra. To access the blade on the Micra, it's on the inside, just like all of the other tools are. Alright, so that's what you've got for the Micra. Okay, right off the bat, I think that the Squirt wins because you've got a little bit more usefulness because your surface is right in line with your blade. I'm going to say that that's a more useful blade for that reason. Whereas the Micra, your surface is down here, your blade's up there. You're kind of a little bit more limited by what you can reach and what you can use it for. I'm going to say that. It's a slight limitation. A slight limitation. Some of you guys will argue and say that's not a limitation at all, but I'm going to say it's a slight limitation. For that reason, and because this blade is slightly thicker, I don't know that that's necessarily a good thing, but I'm going to hand it to the Squirt for just the blade. Otherwise, blades are basically identical. Now, moving on, we've got the, let's close this up. Again, you see another disadvantage of the Micra. Slower to access some of these tools. Okay, you see that the nail pick area is, well, basically the same functionality there, slightly different shape, but same functionality. And the traction here on the nail file is identical. Identical in my view, and in my usefulness, and in all the using that I've done of these two, and I've done enough, I'm going to say the traction is identical. So that's awesome. Now on the other side here, you've got a ruler printed onto the metal. Well, that's kind of cool. You know, it's kind of cool that they did that, except that, could that get worn off someday at some point? I don't know what they did, I don't know what their process is to get that printed on there, but I'm going to say, yeah, that could get worn off at some point. What about the ruler feature on the Micra? Oh, and by the way, that's on the Squirt there, that's only about 1.5 inches of ruler. Here on the Micra, you've got a full 5 inches of ruler, and it's stamped right into the sheet metal. Okay, stamped right into it, so that's not getting worn off. Oh, all right, I'm going to say the Micra wins for ruler. Definitely wins. Brings us to our next tool. Let's move on to the precision screwdriver on the the S4, and the precision screwdriver here on the Micra. Again, on the inside, you just got to live with it. Whoa, hello. Okay, is this more reach, or would you count it here? I don't know. I might count it from here. For certain functionalities, you might have to have that narrowness all the way down. So I'm going to say that this one wins for reach, when that's considered. But if you've got the space for it, well, then you've got all that reach. Okay. I won't call a winner or a loser there. Let's just kind of make that a tie. But otherwise, functionally, the tip is identical. It's just the same. This one's a little bit more refined looking, perhaps, but just as functional. Functionally identical. That brings us on to, let's move on to the Syrah bottle opener. And the bottle opener here on the Squirt is here. I'm going to say that the winner for bottle opener is definitely the Micra. Not by a whole lot, but it is the Micra. Look how much deeper it is. Can you see that? As they're laid on top of each other, you can compare. The Micra bottle opener is deeper, so it's going to do a better job of getting some of those bottles open that you need to get opened. I've heard a lot of complaints actually about this bottle opener, that it's not deep at all, and that it's actually a real pain to get anything open with it. So there's something to consider. I don't know how well that's been incorporated on the PS4, by the way, so something to investigate as you are shopping. And where would you get an S4 anyway, if you were shopping for an S4? Well, secondary markets will still have it for quite some time. eBay, you'll be able to find used ones on there, maybe even new ones. I mean, the market had quite a lot of them when they redesigned it and released the PS4. So I'm going to say that this is actually going to be available for quite a while. And here we have the Phillips head screwdriver. Let's find the Phillips on the S4. Okay, yeah, there's no question. The Micra wins. The Micra totally wins. This is not unusable, but this one is far longer. Now, this does come to a finer point. That's something to consider. Maybe this is better for precision tasks. Maybe. This is a little bit blunter. I have actually attacked some pretty large screws with this and had some success. So, just weigh that out, guys. Think about that. Think about that as you're looking for your, making your decision. Moving on to the tweezers. Is that the last tool? It might be. No, we haven't done the flathead yet. We'll do the flathead in just a second. Let's do the tweezers. Okay, so you've got these free floating tweezers. You actually can remove them on the Squirt. That's cool, but you can also lose them. So keep that in mind. And functionally, I think they're the same. Functionally, they both work just as well. So, yeah, again, it's your call. You're going to have to make the decision on that. Now, here comes the flathead. We are almost out of time, so we're going to wrap this up. Flathead. Way more reach on the Micra. Way more. Now that we've established what the differences are between these two tools, certainly there's some more refined design going on here, but functionality, I think this is kind of the winner for most functions. Speed of use, ease of use, outside tools here, so that's really cool, but they all have to be so much smaller, whereas this, since it folds up on the inside, they can be a little bit larger. Weight, I'm going to say they're just about the same. The Micra, no, they're just about the same. Might be slightly lighter here. I don't know. They're practically the same. Price. This is considerably cheaper than this. This one is in the $30 range. This one is in the $20 range. That's you know, full retail. You're buying them on the secondary market. If you're buying them used, you get them considerably less than that. But overall, yeah, I don't know which one to call the winner. I'm leaning towards the Micra, but both really good tools. I'm the Late Boy Scout, guys. Thanks for watching. This has been my comparison of the Squirt S4 and the Leatherman Micra by Leatherman. We'll see you guys later.